गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय।
लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे मणि मणि मुकुट नयन रत्नारे गर पग गभ गर गग पग पग रे गा पद साधा पग रे सा लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे मणि मणि मुकुट नयन रत्नारे गज मणिमाल गले बिच सोहे गज मणिमाल गले बिच सोहे भाल लाल में चंद्रकला रे गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय।
मोदक लेत देत जननी जब ठुमक चलत नो पुर झनकारे मोदक लेत देत जननी जब गणपति मोदक लेत देत जननी जब ठुमक चलत नूपुर झनकार रिधि सीधी दो चवर तुलावत रिधि सीधी दो चवर तुलावत सुर समूह लखी होत सुखारे गणपति विघ्न
विनाशनहारे गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे जय जय
गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणेश जय गणपति जय जय।
Namaste, Sitaram, and on behalf of Ashtie and Kevin Ramsumair, as well as their three lovely children, Veer, Vida and Vandevi, who is just 1 month old, a year old. Very beautiful names. I see Nandini, my wife, smiling at these names. Very, very beautiful names, very well chosen. She has a nephew whose name is Veer also. So and 3 V's that you have chosen. Very good thinking, very, very good thinking. But I want to congratulate you on having this satsang and inviting us to be part of your celebrations, and to begin tonight by wishing you all the best. I understand you celebrated your wedding anniversary recently, and therefore to both may there be many more years of blissful life between you both, and may you bring up 3 lovely children to grace this world and to lend the skills and the values that you will teach them, so that they will make a great contribution to the community and also the country. I am extremely happy this evening. You would not believe how happy I am this evening to be in the company of such distinguished musicians. My dear friends, tonight with us is Shivanand Maharaj and his brother Narendra, and of course Shyam and an illustrious tabla player. Shivanand and his brother, they are, in my view, perfect role models for any Hindu youth. These are 2 young men I have admired all my life. It was almost 20 years ago that I had the opportunity at the Palladi Sai Center to be in the company of Shivanand in particular. I think Narendra was also there, and that was the last time we sang together. So after all these 20 years, Shyam, coming back together on an evening like this, you have filled my heart with a lot of joy. Shivanand, Narendra, Shyam, tabla, I want to wish you all the best, and to invoke Lord Ganesh blessings upon you as we begin this evening's satsang. And we'll begin, of course, with a beautiful chanting to Lord Ganesh, who is worshipped at the beginning of all of our pujas. And we wish Lord Ganesh's blessings upon the family, and in particular ask him, as he is the remover of obstacles, to remove any obstacles that will ever be in the way of the progress of this beautiful family. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gajananam Bhutaganadi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palasar Bhakshanam Umasutam Shoka Vinashikarakam Namami Vigneshwar Pankajam Shuklam Baradharam Devam Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam Prasannavaranam Dhyaye Sarva Vigno Pashanti. Hey Ganesh Bhagwan, you are the one who gives sight to the blind. You give physical strength to the weak. You give children to families and wealth to the poor. We have come before you tonight, Bhagwan, asking your blessings as we bow at your feet, and we ask you, Lord, to also bless everyone present here and to bless this family. Jai Ganesha Deva, Jai Ganesha Deva, देवा, जय गणेश देवा। माता जाके पार्वती, माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा, पिता महादेवा। माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। लदवन को भोग लगे, संत करे सेवा। लदवन को भोग लगे, संत करे सेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। एक दंत दयावंत, चार भुजाधारी। 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 एक दंत दयावंत, चार भुजाधारी, चार भुजाधारी। एक दंत दयावंत, चार भुजाधारी। माथे पे सिंदूर सोहे, उसके सवारी। माथे पे सिंदूर सोहे, उसके सवारी। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। अंधन को आँख देता, निर्बल को काया। अंधन को आँख देता, निर्बल को काया। निर्बल को काया। अंधन को आँख देता, निर्बल को काया। बांझन को पुत्र देता, निर्धन को माया। बांझन को पुत्र देता, निर्धन को माया। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती, पिता महादेवा। और चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा। हार चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा। हार चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा। और चढ़े मेवा। हार चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा। हार चढ़े फूल चढ़े। जय गणेश देवा चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा, सूरदास शरण आयो सफल करो सेवा, सूरदास शरण आयो सफल करो सेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा, माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा, माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा। Well, Saturday nights are very special in our country because it is the day on which Hanumanji is worshipped and celebrated. And if there is any deity that is more popular than Hanumanji, I still have to discover that. He is the epitome of what we call Ramdut, the messenger of Shri Ram, and he is Bhakta Hanuman, the devotee of Shri Ram. Brothers and sisters, in that regard, join me now with the rendition of Hanuman Chalisa. Shri Guru Charana सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी, वरन रघुवर विमल यश जो ध्यायक फल चारी। बुद्धहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार, बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, सुमति निवाज सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुवेशा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, कांची गूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केशरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिवे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिवे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाई संजीवन लखन जिलाए, श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, मम प्रिय भरत ही समुझाई। सहस वदन तुम्हरो यश गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कनु तल गावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा, नारद शारद सहित रहीशा। यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाँ ते, कवि कोविद कह सकय कहाँ ते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा, राम मिलाए राज पर दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मन विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। युग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्योताहि सुर पल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मिली मुख माही, जल दिलांग गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे जेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहय तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम राक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आप, तीनों लोक हाक के कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, दिल की काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दाता। तुम्हारो भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाए, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाए। और देवता चेतन धरे, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करे। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो शत बार पाठ करे कोई, छूत ही बन ही महासुख होई। जो यहाँ पर ही हनुमान चालीसा, होई सीधी साखी गौरीशा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि छेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महादेरा। की जय नाथ हृदय महादेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। श्री राम। And Shyam plays very beautifully the song for us. Shyam. My dear friends, before I begin my discourse tonight, in the great tradition in which Tulsidas wrote Ramayana, I too would like to invoke the blessings of the different deities. As we do so, we invoke the blessings of all these deities upon everyone present, and in particular, the family. We begin by bowing before Saraswati. who is the goddess of sound and speech, and Lord Ganesh, the giver of wisdom. We then revere Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, as it were the first parents on earth. And in their family, you will find that each one of the children and mother and father, they travel on different animals. But though they travel on different animals, which animals in the forest would destroy each other, yet in that family they cooperate, giving us the wonderful example through their lives and their family, that though we may walk different paths, though we may have different ideas, though at times our ideas and vision may clash, it is important to cooperate with each other. For through cooperation, there will be the success we require as a family. And then we worship Lord Shiva himself. And we also worship Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the provider, but he needs someone as a means. And therefore we also worship Mother Lakshmi as the one who provides the things, the material comforts that which we need in order to have sustenance. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu is the sustainer, Lord Shiva, the one who transforms, who receives us and transforms us and makes us whole. We worship Sita and Ram. Sita and Ram, when they are seated in our hearts like they were seated in the heart of Hanuman, then we become abodes of peace. The word Ayodhya means an abode of peace, an abode where there is no conflict. Yudha means conflict. Ayodhya means a place without conflict. When we become Ayodhya by having Ram and Sita in our hearts, then we have peace in our lives. Varnanam artha sanghanam rasanam chandasamati mangalanam chakaritaram vande vani vinayaka bhavani shankara Vande Shraddha Vishwasarupino Yabhyam Vinana Pashanti Siddha Swantastham Ishwaram Vande Bodhamayam Mrityur Gurum Shankara Rupino Yamashritto Hivakropi Chandra Sarvatra Vandyate Sitaram Gunagram Sitaram Gunagram Punya Viharino Vande Vishuddha Vijnana Vande Vishuddha Vijnana Vande Vishuddha Vijnana Kavishwara 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 Kavishwara. And now Ramayana Sumiran. Jo Sumirat Jo Sumirat Jo Sumirat Jo Sumirat Siddhi Ho Sumirat सकल कलिमल दहन जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गणनायक करिवर बलना नील सरोवर तरुणा अरुण बारी जनयना करऊ सममा ऊर्ध्वाम सदा क्षीर सागर शयना जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गणनायक करिवर भगना कुल इंदु समदे कुमार मन करुणा दीन करऊ कृपा मर्दन मयना जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गणनायक करिवर बलना बंदो गुरु पर कन कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरे महामोह तम पुण्य जासु वचन रवि करने करो जो सुमिरत सिद्धि हो गुरु पर परम परागा जय सिया राम सुरुचि सुभाष सरस अनुरागा जय सिया राम अमिय मोरि मय क्षूरन चारु जय सिया राम समन सकल भवरुज परिवारु जय सिया राम सुकृत शंभुतन विमल विभूति जय सिया राम मंगल मंगल मोह प्रसूति जय सिया राम जनमन मंगु मुकुर मलहरनी जय सिया राम किए तिलक गुण गण बस करनी जय सिया राम श्री गुरु पर नख मणि गण ज्योति जय सिया राम सुमिरत दिव्य दृष्टि ही होती जय सिया राम दलन मोह तम सोस प्रकाशु जय सिया राम बरे भाग उर आवै जासु जय सिया राम उग्रहि विमल विलोचन ही के जय सिया राम मितहि दोष दुख भव रजनी के जय सिया राम सुजहि राम चरित मणि मानिका जय सिया राम गुप्त प्रगट जहाँ जे जहि खनिका जय सिया राम जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय सिया राम जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय सिया राम जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम Thank you, Shivanand. Thank you, everyone. You'd agree with me that the music has given a total uplift to my mood. And Shaman, the tabla player, really, really good. My dear friends, I've chosen a topic that I hope that will be of interest to everyone, because we are living in a world at this time where something interesting is happening. Long ago, you would hear people getting divorced in the first 5 to 7 years of their marriage. Now, people are being divorced within the first 3 days of their marriage. And something more interesting is happening. That people in their 70s who have been married for 30 and 40 years and sometimes 50 years, they're also getting divorced. And so you're wondering what is happening to relationships in the world. Because strong marriages mean strong families. And in our society today, there is something that I would cautiously call a fad, which is the single mother syndrome. And one wonders, how can a child really be developed with the values? How can a child really enjoy parental love if both parents are not together in order to influence, motivate, and inspire these children? And so tonight, I've chosen to speak about the essence of a healthy marriage is in the quality of interpersonal communications. The question is often asked, what is the basis of a successful marriage? And this question prompts another one. What is a successful marriage? How do you measure success in a marriage? Is marital success measured by the quality of family life? Is it measured by the growth of the family? Is it measured by children's success? Is it measured by wealth? Is it measured by longevity? What criteria would we apply when we seek to describe a successful marriage, Shivanand? It's a very good question. And I think very few people think about it even before they get married, much less after they get married. But all of these things that I'm talking about represent outcomes. And perhaps to different degrees, they are the outward manifestation of successful marriages. But at the heart of a successful marriage is something my wife also often told me, that I didn't have enough time to speak to her. I didn't have enough time to communicate with her. Yes, it's true. And in my own marriage, therefore, it faltered many times because of the lack of openness, because of the lack of communication, because of the lack of speaking one heart out to another heart, as it were. Because a marriage is a union of not two physical persons, but it's a union of hearts. You know, in the marriage ceremony, the groom is asked, who gives this bride to you? And he's asked 3 times. And the answer he has to give is, love gives this bride to me. Love gives this bride to me. Love gives this bride to me. And love is about the heart. And marriage is about heart to heart. So at the heart of a successful marriage is, in my view, the quality of interpersonal trust that exists between the partners and their personal credibility in the eyes of each other. Credibility, or if you may wish, integrity and interpersonal trust go hand in hand. Without these, a marriage cannot be truly satisfying and cannot be deemed successful. Because where trust and credibility are absent, there is always going to be dissatisfaction and unhappiness. Because one partner is always going to be questioning and having doubts in his or her mind. But with trust and credibility, there is going to be no need to second guess or to have to question the motives and intent of each other. But credibility is not something someone gives to you. Credibility is what you live. People perceive you as a credible person because there is no gap between what you say and what you do. That gap is closed. But when there's a gap between what you say and you do, then you don't become a credible person, and therefore trust breaks down. So how then is credibility and interpersonal trust develop in a marriage? The answer is simple. It is through the quality of interpersonal communication. And interpersonal communication depends on each partner to the marriage asking and answering certain fundamental questions. And I have listed, Narendra, 6 questions that you have to ask. Question number 1. To what extent am I open to the ideas, the criticisms, the views and opinions of my spouse? And how do I demonstrate such openness, especially by my listening behaviors? Now, listening is not a very easy thing. Hearing and listening are 2 different things. Hearing and listening are 2 different things. I'll demonstrate it to you very simply. Just try a little exercise with me here, right? I'm not going to hypnotize you, right? Just put up one hand. Everybody, just put up one hand, okay? Right. Now, put up the other hand, right? Okay, you know in school we used to put up the hand, O'Grady and so on, right? So now I ask you to do something. Choose to put down any hand. This is your choice now. Just like you have to make choices in life, you put down which hand you want. All right? With the next hand, I want you to hit your chin and hold it. Right, stop. Everybody, don't move your hand. Where are you hitting? I said hit your chin. Where are you hitting? You're hitting your cheek. See how you see the point? It's easy to follow behavior. So you just followed what I did blindly. But the point about it, listening is not easy. So if you really want to be someone whom your spouse can talk to, you have to have the art of listening. And the art of listening also takes patience. The art of listening means that you have to agree to disagree and still be friends. You know, even Sita, in Ramayana, on another occasion when I'm with you, I'll tell you, Sita criticized Ram, criticized him very, very strongly for his behavior when he went out to fight the demons, and she criticized and said, look, you have no problems with them, why are you doing it? Why are you taking up arms? And that morning, it was her, every morning she used to hand him the bow and arrows, but that morning she was reluctant to hand him. She criticized his behavior, and he went on to explain to her why he had to do what he had to do. And then she agreed. Our Ramayana is filled with examples of how we can resolve conflicts. So the second question is now, to what extent am I seen by my partner as a genuine person, as against being a phony person? So, what is a genuine person? What is a genuine person? A genuine person is one who speaks truly how he or she feels. A genuine person is one who is not alarmed and not angry at being criticized. A genuine person accepts feedback. A genuine person is someone you can relate to. A genuine person is one you are not afraid to speak to. A genuine person is a compassionate person. A genuine person is a forgiving person. Third question. To what extent do I create satisfaction or frustration by way of my communication and exchange it with my partner? You know, in interpersonal relations in general, you could either frustrate somebody or you can create satisfaction. Am I creating satisfaction or am I creating frustration? That's another question. Question 4. To what extent am I receptive to my partner? What extent am I receptive emotionally, mentally, and physically? But especially emotionally. Especially emotionally. Do I understand the emotions of my wife or husband? Do I understand when they're in a particular mood? Can I read that mood? How well do I know them? How well have I grown to know them? That if I see them sitting there sulking, I know something is wrong. And do I pursue them to find out what is wrong? Because a partner in a marriage is a helper. A partner in a marriage helps one to stand up, not fall down. A partner in a marriage doesn't push someone down. It helps them to rise from where they are emotionally. Question number 5. What is the climate that exists in our home? What is the climate? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it lukewarm? I'm not talking about the temperature. I'm talking about the climate in the home between people. You know, you walk into a home and you know you're welcome or you're not welcome. Right? What is the climate in the home? And finally, to what extent am I sensitive to my partner's feelings and views? And a wonderful example of these qualities of openness, authenticity, receptivity, respect, and satisfaction was demonstrated in the relationship between Sita and Bhagwan Sri Ram. And the test of these qualities came when difficult decisions had to be made. That is when a marriage is tested, you know, not in good times. It is tested in the fire of the opposite. The test of these qualities came when difficult decisions had to be made. And in the Ramayana, the first of such decisions was Sita's request of Ram to accompany him to the forest. And her motivation to accompany him was as much based upon her desire to share in his moral uprightness. Now, when Ram went into the forest, he went because he wanted to be morally upright. Morally upright meant that he wanted his father's word to be honored. And if his father's words were not honored, then as a leader, his father would have lost credibility. So the morality there, the dharma there, was to ensure that his father's word was honored. And moral uprightness is what he wanted. And Sita wanted to share in that. She wanted to be part of that moral uprightness. As much as she felt, I tell you, you read the Ramayana, you'll see it. She felt that in times of trial and tribulation, her rightful place was at the side of her husband. And in a beautiful chaupai from Ramayana, this is what she said to Sri Ram. जिया बिनु देहन दे बिनु बारी ताई सियाना बिनु न्यारी जिया बिनु देहन दे बिनु बारी ताई सियानात पुरुष बिनु न्यारी जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय सकल सुख साथ तुम्हारे शारद विमल विधु बदनु निहारे जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जिया बिनु देहा नरी बिनु बारी ताई सिया नाथ पुरुष बिनु न्यारी नाथ सकल सुख साथ तुम्हारे Sarada Vyala Vidhu Vadanu Banihari. Listen to the beauty of these lines, the poetry, the depth of this poetry. It says, as a body bereft of life, as a river without water, so my Lord is a woman without a husband. In your company, my husband, everything will be delightful. Although she knew that in the forest there'll be suffering, but she's telling her husband, once I'm in your company, everything will be delightful. As long as I can behold your countenance that competes in brightness with the immaculate autumn moon. My friends, as a body bereft of life, as a river without water, so my Lord is a woman without her husband. Those are the words of Sita. But how many of us as husbands can say the same? As a body bereft of life, as a river without water, so my Lord is a man without his wife. How many of us can reverse it and say the same? There is no doubt in the mind of Sita where she belonged in the life of Ram in a time of crisis. It was not, a blind followership. It wasn't that. It was both a statement of her love and her own commitment to uphold the morality for which her husband was accepting exile. Her statement, which represents her genuineness and her authenticity, came after, a most tension and anxiety-filled meeting between Sri Ram, Sita, and her mother-in-law Kaushalya. There was a very tense meeting that took place between the three of them. And she made this statement that I just read to you after that. And you know what happened in that conversation? Sita had gone there to plead with Ram and to plead with Kaushalya to allow her to go into the forest. And it was Kaushalya, the mother-in-law, who spoke to Sri Ram in Sita's presence, asking him to pursue Ashtie. She never spoke to Sita, she spoke directly to Ram, asking him that you must persuade her to stay. In other words, she didn't want to get in between the husband and the wife. That's a very important point, because a lot of mothers-in-law, they get between the husband and wife and they create endless problems for the couple. Endless problems. Not only mothers-in-law, sometimes aunts-in-law, all kinds of relatives. Kaushalya never spoke directly to Sita because she recognized that she did not have the right to ask anything of Sita. That was Ram's right, despite being her mother-in-law. Instead, Kaushalya demonstrated respect for Sita by addressing Sri Ram and also by her words of praise and her attitude of care for Sita. In these wonderful verses from Ramayana, this is what Tulsidas writes. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. पुत्र बधु प्रिय पाई रूप राशि गुण शील सुहाई नयन पुतरी करी प्रीति बढ़ाई राखे प्राण जनक हिलाई जय राम श्री रामा जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा। कल्प बेली जी में बहु विधि लाली कल्प बेली जीवी बहु विधि लाली सींची स्नेह सलिल प्रतिपाली भूलत फलत भयउ विधि बामा जानिल जाई कह परिणामा जय राम श्री रामा पलंग पीत तजी गोद हिंदोरा गोद हिंदोरा पलंग पीते तजी गोद हिंदोरा रामा गोद हिंदोरा पलंग पीत तजी गोद हिंदोरा सिया नदीन पगु अवलिक थोरा जिया नमूरी जिमी जोगवत रहू दीप बाती नरी तारण करू जय राम श्री रामा जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय जय सोई सीत चलन चरती बनसा था चरती बनसा था सोई सीत चलन चरती बनसा था चरते बनसा था आई सुख हो रघुनाथा आये सुख हुई रघुनाथ everybody जय राम श्री रामा जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय Kaushalya speaks her heart out about Sita. Listen how she speaks about his daughter-in-law. She says, I have found in her a beloved daughter-in-law. Not just a daughter-in-law, she uses an adjective. A beloved daughter-in-law. And look at the description. She is exceedingly beautiful, amiable, and accomplished. I have treated her as the very apple of my eye and love her so much that my very soul is centered in Janaki. That was another name for Sita. I have tended her as carefully as a creeper of paradise and watered her growth with streams of love. And now when the creeper is about to flower and bring fruit, God has turned against me and there is no knowing what the end will be. Never yet, says Kaushalya, never yet has Sita left bed or seat or lap or cradle to set foot on the hard ground. I have been tending her like a life-growing herb, and never even have I asked her to trim the wick of a lamp. Is this the Sita, she says, is this the Sita who will accompany you to the forest, Ram? What then is your bidding, Raghunath? And she wasn't talking to Sita, no. All this was addressed to Ram. You know what she's also telling him? Shivanan, you know what she's also telling him? This is how I expect you to treat your wife. Indirectly, this is what she's saying, This is your responsibility of how to treat her. Brothers and sisters, Kaushalya praises her daughter-in-law. She indicated that her intent was always to make Sita happy. Sita never disputed what Kaushalya said about her. And so Tulsidasa's description of Sita by Kaushalya is a true representation of Kaushalya's love and care for Sita. She presents a case to Sri Ram, but leaves him to decide. Yesu kaha hoi Raghunatha. What is your bidding, Sri Ram? Not my bidding, it is your bidding. Asa vichari jasa Yesu hoi, mai sikha Deu Janaki hi soi. Ponder this, and then whatever you decide, then I will instruct Sita. But I will not instruct her to go or not to go. You must instruct her to go or not to go. And look what she asked him to do. Think about it. You see what she's asking her son to do? Please do not act harshly. Think carefully. Think carefully. You know, Shivanand, when I used to teach management and be a consultant, I used to teach in the classroom, 4 stages of decision making through a Hindu concept. Firstly, Shravanam, listening. Then Mananam, reflection on that which you have listened. And after reflecting, then Nidhi Dhyasanam, deeper reflection. In that stage, you think about all the alternative courses of action and the advantages and disadvantages of each course of action. And then karma, then act. That might take 10 seconds, it might take 3 days. But you need to apply it. I used to teach a lot, in my classes from the Hindu scriptures, I didn't really have to go to management text. Everything is in there. And it's appealed to people very deeply when I did that. So, one of the critical contributors to unhappiness in marriage is the role of in-laws, particularly mothers-in-law. And here Kaushilya defends the role beautifully. Defines the role beautifully. It's a role to love, to respect, to nurture, to nourish, to advise, not to command, not to dominate, not to decide for, not to push into a corner, not to demand, not to embarrass. Ram must make the decision. And she then goes further and says to Ram, if she remains at home, Ram, she will be my support, the support of my life. So Sri Ram is in a dilemma. Firstly, as a son who loves his mother, and secondly, as a husband who loves his wife. And a lot of daughters and sons face that. They are torn apart by love for each other. And then she asked Sri Ram, do you remember, I'm asking you, when he had first seen Sita, what he had declared? Do you remember what he had declared? When he first saw Sita, he declared something very, very interesting. Let's hear what he declared. Dekhi seya sob sukh pawa. He's seeing Sita. You see how Shivanand plays that violin, Nandini? To reflect, the tone. This is a verse, Shivanand, about when he saw Sita for the first time. And you are reflecting it in the mood. Dekhi siya sobha sukha pawa, hridaya sarahat vachunan awa, janu biranchi sab nij nipunai, बिरचि विश्व कह प्रगति दिखाई. जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम. सुंदर करे सुंदर करे, सुंदर रत कहूँ सुंदर करे, जब गृह दीप शिखा जनु बरे, सब उपाम कवि रहे जुतारी, केहि पत तर उविदे कुमारी. जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, he said when he first saw Sita. Kevin, I want to know what you first felt when you saw Ashtie. I put in Kevin on this spot. He looks like a very shy guy. Kevin, thank you for the warm welcome you gave me when I arrived. Thank you very much. When he saw Sita's beauty, he was filled with rapture. You know, the warm feeling that comes up here? Warm feeling. He admired it in his heart, but utterance failed him. It's like, a dumb person tasting a sweet mango but cannot express it by words. Well, that is how Ram, he was feeling this love, feeling, all the emotion, but he can't express it in words. He felt as if Brahma, the creator, had put forth all his creative skill in visible form and revealed it to the world. Sundarata kahu sundar kare chavagriha deepa sikha janubarai. She lends charm to charm itself. Young fellas, you want lyrics? This is lyrics. She lends charm to charm itself and looks like as if a flame of light is burning in a house of loneliness. My goodness, Tulsidas was a writer. And they talk about Shakespeare. The similes, says Tulsidas, already employed are all stale and cannot describe her. To whom shall I liken Videha's daughter? He could find no comparison. You know why? He was in love with her. He loved her. And now he's caught in a dilemma. The love for her on the one hand, and his love and obligations towards his mother, Kaushilya, on the other hand. And how many sons and daughters have been caught in such a dilemma? Question. Sham, can such dilemmas ever be resolved? Sham is not going to give an answer. How does Sri Ram resolve it though, Sham? How does he resolve it? The one thing that he has going for him is an understanding mother who will abide by his decision. That's the one thing he has. An understanding mother. If you have understanding parents, you are going to be able to resolve many, many problems. But when you don't have understanding parents, you're going to have difficulty. Isn't that true? You have to have understanding parents in order to resolve problems. So, in this doha, we hear how he resolves it. Kahi priya vachana vivekamaya कीन हमातु परितोषा लागे प्रबोधन जानक ही प्रगति विपिन गुण दोषा श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम श्री श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन हरन भव भय दारुण श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन हरन भव भय दारुण नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख पर पर कंजारुणम श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजो मन हरण भव भय दारुणम कंदर पागनिता नवनील नीरज सुंदरम कंदर पागनित अमित छवि नवनील नीरज सुंदरम पत पीत मानहु करित रुचि सुचि नवमी जनक सुतावरम श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजो मन हरण भव भय दारुणम Bhaju Dina Bandhu Dinesh Danav Daitavanshani Kandanam Bhaju Dina Bandhu Dinesh Danav Daitavanshani Kandanam Raghunanda Ananda Chanda Kaushal Chanda Dasharath Nandanam Shri Ramchandra Kripalu Bhaju Mana Haran Bhava Bhailarunam Shri Ramchandra Kripalu Bhaju Mana Haran Bhava Bhailarunam. Sira Mukata Kundala Mukata Kundala Sira Mukata Kundala Tilaka Charu Udaru Anga Vibhushanam Sira Mukata Kundala Tilaka Charu Udaru Anga Vibhushanam Ajanu Bhuja Shar Chap Dhar Sang Ram Jita Ghar Dhur Shri Ramchandra Kripalu Bhaju Mana Haran Bhava Bhailarunam Shri Ramchandra Kripalu Bhaju Mana Haran Bhava Bhailarunam. Iti Barita Tulasi Das Shankar Shesha Muni Manaranjanam Iti Barita Tulasi Das Shankar Shesha Muni Manaranjanam How does he resolve this decision? My dear friends, the one thing he has going for him is an understanding mother. I know what he did. He began by comforting his distraught mother with wise and loving words, and then began to describe to Sita the pains and pleasures of the forest life. First he comforted his mother. Matri Devo Bhava. The mother is first God. Pitri Devo Bhava. The father is also God. Guru Devo Bhava. The teacher is God. Atiti Devo Bhava. The guest is God. These four injunctions are given to us in Taittiriya Upanishad to follow. And He began to then describe to Sita the pains and pleasures of forest life. But there is something interesting that Tulsidas observed. So small yet so significant. Matu samipa kahata sakuchai. 4 words. Even though he hesitated to speak in the presence of his mother. He hesitated. This is an indication of Ram's respect for Sita. Eh? There is to be a discussion. It should be done privately between him and his wife. But he also recognized the moment, the exigencies of the moment. And addressing her as princess, he put forward his case and his request to her. And how he puts forward his case and request to her, I will tell you in these verses as we come closer and closer to the end of our discourse tonight. I'm so enjoying the music that, I'm inspired, Shivana and Sham and everyone inspired. Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya आपन मोरनी कजाऊ चाहू बचनु हमारा माने गृह रहू आय सुमोर सासु सेवकाई सब विधि भामिनी भवन यही ते अधिक उधर मुँह नहीं दूजा सागर सासु ससुर पर पूरा राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता यही ते अधिक उधर मुँह नहीं दूजा सादर सासु ससुर पर पूजा जब जब मातु करी सुधि मोरी होई प्रेम कलमति भोरी जय राम श्री रामा जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा जय राम श्री रामा जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा जय जय रामा अजा राम 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 सीता राम राम Raja Ram, 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 Sita Ram, Ram, Ram. 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 If you wish well of me, says Ram, as of yourself, please pay heed to what I say and stay at home. You will thus be obeying my order and rendering service to your mother-in-law. By remaining at home, O good lady, you will be benefited in every way. For a woman, there is no duty more sacred than this, to do reverent service to the feet of her husband's parents. Whenever my mother recalls to mind and is distraught by my absence, then comfort her, my love, with stories from the Puranas and tender speeches. I tell you sincerely, and swear it 100 times, it is only for my mother's sake, O charming lady, that I ask you to stay here. Ram is honest about his feelings. Whether she agrees or not is a second matter, but he's honest. He's genuine, he's open. He does not, however, directly tell Sita what to do. He indicates a preparedness to listen to her. Right? To listen to her. And in this case, to get her to stay, he offers her the rewards of the gods for dedicated duty to the parents. But then he openly and honestly said to her, he says, if, however, my wife, you persist because you love me so much, you will probably come to grief in the end. Because why? The forest is exceedingly troublesome and dreadful, with awful heat and cold and rain and wind. And then Ram says to her, he who does not reverently accept the advice of those who are disinterested well-wishers. Now, you have got to be careful. In your married life, there are people who are going to come, but they are not disinterested well-wishers. They are interested well-wishers. They have something to want to gain. And they come in there. You see? But you must deal with the disinterested. A true well-wisher is one who is disinterested in their own welfare, but interested in your welfare. So he says, those who do not respectfully accept the advice of such disinterested well-wishers as the Guru and Master would have their fill of remorse and surely harm themselves. So Sri Ram puts a strong case to Sita, completely open, completely honest about his feelings, but he's willing to listen to her. So now that he spoke, he gives her a chance to speak. He gives her a chance to speak. Brothers and sisters, it is said, in a marriage and in life as such, a conflict exists in the nature of the response. Without a response, there probably would be no conflict. It's when you respond, then the conflict starts. So how does Sita respond? How does she respond? And particularly so in a marriage relationship. When Sita, heard the words of Sri Ram, her eyes were filled with tears, And she said to Ram, Ram, I have, forgive me, Ram. She first said, forgive me, Ram, for protesting, for having a different view. You have given me, as my dear Lord and husband, such advice as is to my interest. But Mai puni samuji dikhamana mahi piya viyoga samadukhu jaganai. I have pondered within myself and realized that there is no sorrow in the world so great as the separation from a husband. And then she turned to Ram and she said, O Lord of my life, abode of compassion, handsome, bounteous and wise, you who are to the house of Raghu what the moon is to the lilies, heaven without you would be as obnoxious as hell. And so she too, with honesty, respect and openness, presented her side of the case about going into the forest. And she lets out, there are several chaupais in which she lets out her feelings. And in the end, of course, Ram took her into the forest. And just before, Ram took her in the forest, Kaushalya blessed her. Kaushalya says, Achala ho ahivatu tumhara, jabalagi Ganga Yamuna Jaladhara. May your wedded life be as enduring as the streams of the Ganga and the Yamuna. How beautiful. So I will share a beautiful song. And रख लाज मेरी सिंदूर की शिव शंकर की प्यारी गौरा पार्वती रख लाज मेरी सिंदूर की शिव शंकर की प्यारी गौरा पार्वती मोहे के तेरा ही आसरा तू ही तारनहारी गौरा पार्वती रख राज मेरी सिंदूर की हरने वाली तो सतियों में महासती तुझसे किसका तप है जिस पे डोल गए कैलाशपति मैं दुखियारी हो सब कुछ हारी आई शरण तिहारी गौरा पार्वती रख लाज मेरी सिंदूर की शिव शंकर की प्यारी गौरा पार्वती मोहे के तेरा आसरा तू ही तारनहारी गौरा पार्वती रख लाज मेरी सिंदूर की दर्द छिपाए सींचे जीवन के क्यारी क्या दुख सहने कोई जन्मी जन्म जली भारत न्यारी घायल की गत हो घायल जाने न्यारी ना दुख न्यारी गौरा पार्वती रख लाज मेरी सिंदूर की शिव शंकर की प्यारी गौरा पार्वती मोहे के तेरा आसरा तू ही तारनहारी गौरा पार्वती रख लाज मेरी सिंदूर की Well, Shivan, we have a few minutes again. Maybe I could share one or two bhajans with you. I'm so much enjoying, really enjoying the evening with you. कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। के मीठी बोली में नाम तेरा है, यमुना की चंचल धारा धाम तेरा है। पंच के मीठी बोली में नाम तेरा है, यमुना की चंचल धारा धाम तेरा है। संसार बन के तुझको तेरी माया पुकारे, भगवान तुझको हर बेटे की काया पुकारे। कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। अंधियारे से उजियारा का मेल मिलाया, धूप हो या छाव मेरे शाम की माया। अंधियारे से उजियारे का मेल मिलाया, धूप हो या छाव मेरे शाम की माया। इंसान यहाँ माया में भरमाया पुकारे, भगवान तुझको हर नेति की काया पुकारे। कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा वाले राम है वो सीता वाले श्याम। कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। मालिक मेरा मन में के आंखें छुपन जाने, भाव देखे इंसान को ना भेद ना माने। मालिक मेरा मन में आंखें छुपे अनजाने, भाव देखे इंसान का भेद ना माने। जंजाल में जो भी पारा पछताया पुकारे, भगवान तुझको हर मेटे की काया पुकारे। कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा राधा राधा, जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। जो राधा वाले राम है वो सीता वाले राम। कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा वाले राम है वो सीता वाले राम। कोई कहे राम, कोई श्याम घन श्याम, जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। जो राधा वाले राम है वो सीता। And so we have come to the end of tonight's satsang. Hope you enjoyed it, and it was quite a pleasure being here with such illustrious musicians, Nandini. It reminded me of All India Radio when we were there. It was really, really But Shivanand, maybe you'll permit me one song again. One song again and we'll close. It's one of my favorite songs. Sing especially for Kevin and Ashtie. मैया की ममता तजे तज बाबा का प्यार ग्वाल बाल की मित्रता गोपियन की मनहार तज के सब परिवार को तज मुरली की तान अपने से मुख मोर के मथुरा चले रे सुना लागे नीरज का धाम गोकुल को छोड़ चले रे घनश्याम सुना सुना लागे नीरज का धाम गोकुल को छोड़ चले रे घनश्याम जमुना रोए मधुबन रोए रोए कदम की छैया ओ जमुना रोए मधुबन रोए रोए कदम की छैया भर भर नैना रोए रे गंवाले रोए रे गवाले रोए बीरज की गैया राह रोक कर रोए मन सुख हो राह रोक कर रोए मन सुख बिछड़ रहे मोरे श्याम रे गोकुल को छोड़ चले रे घनश्याम बोलत के ना घर के पंछी असुअन से भरे नैना असुअन से भरे नैना आजा कान्हा ना जा कान्हा ना जा कान्हा ना जा कान्हा आजा कान्हा ना जा कान्हा भूखे रे पिंजरे की मैया नदिया रोए गिरिवर रोए ले कान्हा का नाम रे सुना सुना लागे ब्रज का धाम गोकुल को छोड़ चले रे घनश्याम प्रेम दीवानी राधा रानी भर नैनन में पानी ओ कैसे कटेगी तुम बिन साथी, जीवन की अब शान रे। सुना सुना लागे हृदय का धाम, गोकुल को छोड़ चले रे घनश्याम। भज गोविंदा जय गोपाला, भज गोविंदा जय गोपाला। भज मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, भज मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला। भज गोविंदा जय गोपाला, भज गोविंदा जय गोपाला। भज मुरली Let's hear this tabla player play some of these beats now. भज मुरली, 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 भज मुरली। भज मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, भज मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला। भज गोविंदा जय गोपाला, भज गोविंदा जय गोपाला। जय नंदलाला जय गोपाला, 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 जय नंदलाला जय गोपाला। गोविंदा जय गोपाला, भज गोविंदा जय गोपाला। Years ago in India, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, armies are ready for the fight. For righteousness Arjuna had to fight. Despondent and full of grief was Arjuna. Friends and relatives on the other side. Arjuna, he could not decide. Then Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, have no fear and fight your battle of life, Arjuna. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Have no fear and fight your battle of life, Arjuna. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Fight for justice and fight for your dharma. Fight for justice and fight for your dharma. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Have no fear and fight your battle of life, Arjuna. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Greater than inaction, Arjuna. So said Lord Krishna, so said Lord Krishna. Face up to the task, not with selfish desire. So said Lord Krishna, so said Lord Krishna. Work for the good of all and die for your dharma. Work for the good of all and die for your dharma. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. And fight your battle of life, Arjuna. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Fight for justice and fight for your dharma. Fight for justice and fight for your dharma. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Forsake not your duty, Arjuna, do not waver. So said Lord Krishna, so said Lord Krishna. Stand for righteousness and defend your dharma. So said Lord Krishna, so said Lord Krishna. A grave crime it is not to fight for your dharma. A grave crime it is not to fight for your dharma. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in have no fear and fight your battle of life, Arjuna. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Cast aside all weakness and be a man, Arjuna. So said Lord Krishna, so said Lord Krishna. Brave, strong with courage, arise like a fire. So said Lord Krishna, so said Lord Krishna. Scorching all injustice in the name of your dharma. Scorching all injustice in the name of your dharma. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Have no fear and fight your battle of life, Arjuna. So said Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Gita. Paap sab bhaga bhakti jab sada, Shri Ram ke charan mein man jab laga. Paap sab bhaga bhakti jab sada, Shri Ram ke charan mein man jab laga. I think these musicians deserve a round of applause. You remind me of 20 years ago. So we have Aarti now. So we will sing tonight Hanumanji Aarti, Saturday night. Dushta dalana Raghunath Kala ki, Dushta dalana Raghunath Kala ki, Aarti ki jai Hanuman Lala ki, Aarti ki jai Hanuman Lala ki, Aarti ki jai Hanuman Lala ki, Aarti जागती बल से गिरिवर कापे, रोग दोष जाके निकट लापे। अंजनी पुत्र महाबलदाई, संतन के प्रभु सदा सहाई। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। मेरा रघुनाथ पधारे, लंका जारी सिया सुखिलाए। लंक सपोत समुद्र सिखाए, जात पवन सुत बारन लाई। लंका जारी असुर संहारे, सिया राम जी के काज सवारे। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। लक्ष्मण मूरचित परे सखाए, आन संजीवन प्राण उबारे। प्रेति पताल तोरे जमगारे, अहि रावण की भुजा उखारे। बाएं भुजा असुर दल मारे, दाहिनी भुजा संत जग तारे। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। सुर नर मुनि आरती उतारे, आरती उतारे प्रभु आरती उतारे। आरती उतारे प्रभु आरती उतारे। सुर नर मुनि आरती उतारे, जय 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 हनुमान उचारे। कंचन थाल कपूर लोचाई, आरती करत अंजना माई। जो हनुमान जी की आरती गावे, बसी वैकुंठ परम पद पावे। आरती की जय हनुमान लला की, आरती की जय हनुमान लला की। बलवाना राम नाम रसिया रे, हे प्रभु मन बसिया रे। हे वीरा हनुमाना अति बलवाना राम नाम रसिया रे, हे प्रभु मन बसिया रे। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की, राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की, राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। हे वीरा हनुमाना अति बलवाना राम नाम रसिया रे, हे प्रभु मन बसिया रे। सीताराम जय सीताराम, 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 सीताराम जय राधे श्याम, सीताराम जय सीताराम, सीताराम जय राधे श्याम। हे वीरा हनुमाना अति बलवाना राम नाम रसिया प्रभु मन बसिया रे। शिरडी बाबा साई राम, शिरडी बाबा साई राम, शिरडी बाबा नंद लाला। शिरडी बाबा साई राम, शिरडी बाबा साई राम, शिरडी बाबा नंद लाला। गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय। गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय राधा रमन हरि गोपाल जय। हे गिरिधर गोपाला, हे गिरिधर गोपाला, हे गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला, जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। माधव मनोहर मधुर मनोहर गिरिधर गोपाला। माधव मनोहर मधुर मनोहर गिरिधर गोपाला। हे गिरिधर गोपाला, हे गिरिधर गोपाला, हे गिरिधर गोपाला। डम 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 डमरू बजे, डमरू बजे, हरे भोलेनाथ शिव डमरू बजे, हरे साईनाथ शिव डमरू बजे। डम 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 डमरू बजे, डमरू बजे, हरे भोलेनाथ शिव डमरू बजे, हरे साईनाथ शिव डमरू बजे। घन 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 घंटा बजे, घन 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 घंटा बजे, हरे पार्वती शंकर डमरू बजे, हरे पार्वती शंकर डमरू बजे। डम 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 डमरू बजे, डमरू बजे, हरे भोलेनाथ शिव डमरू बजे, हरे साईनाथ शिव डमरू बजे। पराशित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा, पराशित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा। गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला, गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला। गोवर्धनोधार गोपाल बाला,
गोवर्धनोधार गोपाल बाला।
गोपी मनोहर राधे गोपाला, गोपी मनोहर राधे गोपाला। पराजित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा, पराजित चोरा वृंदावन संचारा। गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला, गोपाला गोपाला
हे मुरली गोपाला।
ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेवा, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेवा। हरि ओम शांति शांति शांति। सियावर रामचंद्र की, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय श्री राम। Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to be in such illustrious company of you. I've never enjoyed myself in a long time, Shivanand.
Sitaram, everyone. Baba, Doctor, Guruji. I need many titles, but tonight I'll choose Guruji. I am overwhelmed right now. This is everything I envisioned and more. Thank you very much. Now we chose to express our gratitude. Kevin and I wanted to just, why? Because we want to set the standard for our little ones of puja, satsang, God, and togetherness. And Baba, you have really completed that for us. To our musicians, Narendra, Shivanand Guruji, thank you all for coming. And soon you will be Guruji for my little ones as our little ones as well, right? To our tabla player, Sitaram, thank you. Yes, Didi, thank you for accompanying, joining us. and Sham, my brother-in-law, thank you very much. To my dear
Daughter Ranjana.
but thank you. To my guests, our guests, thank you so much. We handpicked you all because of our crowd, but we appreciate you coming. Each and every one of you mean very much to us and very close to the children as well. So thank you so much for coming. Please partake of meals and parsad and reach home safely. Sitaram.